Hey y'all, Miss Kennedy here. Today we're going to look at solving inequalities and graphing them. Be sure to stay to the end where I'm going to give you a little extra help even. And go ahead and hit subscribe because I teach you algebra so that you can make sense of it and so that you can move on with your life. So let's get started. When you solve an inequality, you want to treat it just like it was an equation. So x minus 4x equals 9 is the match to this. And I would just think about it like in this equation, I would solve by combining like terms. So it doesn't want me to put a check mark there. All right. So if I combine like terms here, it's the same thing, 1x minus 4x. So that would be negative 3x greater than or equal to 9. And then over here, I would have the same thing, except it would say equals instead of greater than or equal to. And then divide both sides by negative 3, just like you would do in an equation. In an equation, you'd end up with x equals negative 3, and you'd be done. Here, you're going to end up with x is, and then you change this symbol because you divide it by a negative. Dividing by a negative kind of cancels each other out, and so it changes the inequality. So it changes to less than or equal to, and then still a negative 3. So you solved the inequality. There's a lag. It's going to show up as a double line. Okay, so we've solved the inequality, but now we need to graph it. So the first thing is just put your number in the middle. And then you got to think, okay, number lines, which way do the numbers go, that kind of thing. Well, just in general, think about on a number line, you know that the positives are going to go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So if I back up to 0, okay, that makes sense. And then back up one more, that would be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. So now I know what goes on this side of the negative 3 is negative 2, negative 1. And that means this side would keep going, negative 4, negative 5. Now, for most of you, your teachers are going to be good with that. Some teachers may even only need you to put one number on either side. And so then you have to look here and see that it was less than or equal to. So that means it could be equal to negative 3, which means you include it in the circle. And then less than, this little symbol here, matches this symbol. And so that tells you where to graph. So always solve with x on the left side so that this symbol will tell you where to graph. If x is on the right side, it's going to mess that up. So always do that. All right. For those of you who have stuck around to the end, as promised, let me give you another problem. Let's look at this one without all the little extra marks here. Oh, come on. All right. So same thing. We're going to set it up just like an equation. We're going to solve by combining like terms. So we have 12 is greater than or equal to 12x because 5 plus 7 is 12. And that looks kind of crazy. Let's fix that. I'm using a new program and I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with it or not. Okay, so I'm going to solve by dividing by 12 on both sides because I have 12 times x. So, oh my goodness gracious. All right, over here, divide by 12. 12 by 12 is 1. Now this time I didn't divide by a negative, so the inequality stays just like it is, and I have x. Now, that is solved for x, but I need to turn it around so that x is on the left, which will give me an inequality that's really easy to graph. So with x on the left, that means that I have to turn this inequality around. If 1 is greater than or equal to x, then that means x is less than or equal to 1. All right, this is my solved inequality. This is what I'm going to graph. So I'm going to come up here with my 1, and I know that in this direction it goes 2 and 3. Oh my goodness gracious. 2, 3. Okay, so then to the left would be 0. And then one more to the left would be negative 1. All right, it's also equal to. So this one gets closed in also. And it is less than. So everything to the